shit. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I can't sleep. Look, insomnia is something that we've pretty much all suffered with at least once in our lifetime. It doesn't matter who you are, eventually you're gonna have a night where you just can't get to sleep. Hell, the Power Rangers have dealt with this as well. Later this year. And it happens in one of the most important Power Ranger filler episodes ever made. It was by definition an episode that shouldn't matter at all in the grand scheme of things, but ended up being one of the most crucial episodes in the entire show's story, and especially its finale. Not only that, but it was also one of the lowest forms of filler that you can do in a TV show. A clip show. Okay, for those of you that might not know what a clip show is, it is an episode of television, generally a sitcom, that consists mostly of clips from previous episodes. In that particular episode, the characters will generally have flashbacks to previous episodes, you know, the classic, trope that you see in sitcoms is from clip show episodes. They could be done for many different reasons, but it's generally due to budget. Look, back in the day, it was very common for shows to have upwards of 20 to 30 episodes per season. And let's say you wanted to have like a big explosive finale where a lot happens, maybe you have guest stars, you have special effects, that costs a lot of money. And if you don't have that money to spend on the show, well, maybe you'll just go back to a certain episode in the season and cut the budget from it, make it cheaper to make. You can do that just by reusing clips from previous episodes, and bam, the clip show was born. And look, I know Power Rangers is already dominated by filler and just general low budget and cheapness already, but they are no stranger to clip shows. They've used them sparingly. Here in the Neo Saban era in recent years, they were usually just used as holiday specials. You know, episodes that really didn't mean much in the grand scheme of things and had nothing to do with the overarching story. They just kind of threw them off to the side. So honestly, it really wasn't that annoying. It didn't really stop the pacing of the season. And in seasons like Dino Charge, when they did it, I mean, that show's already really goofy and cartoony as is. It kind of just fit right in. Dino Thunder did it in a really neat way. As early as episode 4, they did a clip show where they showed previous adventures that Tommy Oliver had. It wasn't established in that series yet that Tommy was previously a Power Ranger, and being a show like Power Rangers where, you know, kids generally tend to grow out of it, there was a lot of viewers that didn't know who Tommy Oliver was. So that episode set the stage for who this mentor was and his past experience as a Ranger. But look, Power Rangers SPD did it the best. They did it towards the very end of the show, right when things were supposed to be ramping up. Insomnia was episode 35 in a 38 episode season of Power Rangers. In this episode, the B Squad, the main team of Rangers that we've been following throughout this entire show, overhears their commander, Doggy Kruger, talking with his right hand, Cat, about the fate of the A Squad. For those of you that don't know, the A Squad was the main team of Power Rangers for SPD, for Space Patrol Delta. They were the go-to good guys, the best of the best of the Academy, but they were lost in battle at the very beginning of the season, and the B Squad, the team that we've been following, stepped in to become the active team of Power Rangers for SPD. Commander Kruger was wondering that if A Squad was still around, would they still be dealing with the threat of Grum? Would they have just gotten the job done already, since they were apparently way better than B Squad, and if they didn't have that incident or go missing in battle, would it just be over already? This sends our team and our main characters into a storm of doubt. They had already dealt with a feeling of not being good enough. That was a big theme throughout the entire season, that they didn't really believe in themselves. I mean, think about it. They were the official backup Power Rangers. In the episode Samurai, we see the leader of B Squad, Jack, doubting himself in battle, believing that his weapon plays a big part in how a fight will turn out, and he thinks that if he had, well, here, let me grab it, the Shadow Saber, the weapon of choice of their commander Doggy Kruger, that he would fare a lot better in battle. I did not need to bring this out, I just think it's really cool and I wanted to show you guys. Holy shit. Sure, he learns his lesson at the end of the day that the weapon doesn't make the fight or the fighter, but that sets the precedent of how Jack felt about himself as a fighter and a leader. The second in command, Sky Tate, was a very similar story. He was the son of a former Red Ranger for SPD that tragically died in battle. He had always looked up to his father and wanted to follow in his footsteps and become the next Red Ranger. Not only did this not happen at that point in his career, but the Red Ranger spot was seemingly given to a complete stranger that Kruger just kind of picked up off the streets randomly. That's at least how Sky saw it. It was a slap in the face to all of his hard work, and Sky felt like he had let down his father and his legacy. The Yellow Ranger Z also dealt with a lot of problems with self-worth because of her bullying in childhood. Because of her powers and how different she was often bullied and was an outcast, which, okay, let's cut the crap for a second. It made no sense whatsoever in New Tech City because that was just a big-ass melting pot of aliens and weird people. They wanted to do it, that's what they went with the story, so we're just gonna roll with this. She was an outcast. But all of this came to a head in Insomnia when all of their doubts and their fears were kind of realized and put on display when they overheard Doggy Kruger talking about them. They all couldn't sleep and eventually met up in a break room at SPD headquarters and just kind of reflected on their ranger careers up until that point. They started off feeling sorry for themselves, just kind of going over how they didn't feel like they were good enough, went over their insecurities, but eventually throughout the course of the episode, the more clips that we went through and the more memories that they shared, they realized that they had actually done a really good job. Through all of this reflection and through this big ass clip show, they found their self-worth, and it was a big character moment for everybody. There was a lot of growth in this episode, which is strange because it is a clip show, and that's generally a throwaway piece of television for, well, most shows that do it. But it doesn't stop there. Through all the memories and everything that they were thinking back to, the Rangers accidentally uncovered the grand plan that Grum, the main villain of the series, has. They always wondered why Grum just didn't destroy Earth from orbit. He had the resources to do so, and he really could just blast the planet, and he'd done it before with other planets, so it really got them thinking. And they also realized while combing through their past adventures that Grum had been collecting an odd amount of resources from Earth, and came to the conclusion that he didn't simply destroy Earth from orbit because he needed resources from it. Resources for what? They weren't 100% sure on what it was, but they knew it was going to be a weapon of mass destruction. I mean, this is a big reveal. The main plot, the main motive for the big villain of the season revealed in a clip show episode? You don't usually see something like that. Not only that, but this was perfect setup for what was going to happen in the next episode, which is A-Squad's return. If you didn't know that, as I was talking about earlier, A-Squad was a big point or reason for the B-Squad's insecurity. Living up to A-Squad's legacy, only for them to return in the very next episode. And the way they felt about A-Squad and their reaction to them returning was all set up in this episode. And the final face-off with A-Squad in the penultimate episode of SPD is one of the most iconic moments from the entire series, and it was all set up right here in Insomnia. And then, to top it all off, as like not like a post-credits scene, but just like an ending scene, we finally got the reveal of the Magnificence, which was the true antagonist of the show. I mean, you know, I have my own thoughts about the Magnificence, and it was kind of lame and stupid, and Grum's a lot cooler, but it is a big reveal. This is a massive reveal. Anyways, possibly the biggest reveal of the entire show, the true villain of the series was revealed in this episode is insane. It is one of the most, if not the most important episode in the entire show. Need I give you a summary? Let's go ahead and do it. It's one of the most important character episodes of the entire show. It perfectly set up the return of A-Squad in the very next episode. It revealed the master plan of the main villain throughout the entire series and what he's truly after, and then showed or revealed the true main villain. It was a big episode. Was the episode perfect? No. Was it the best episode of the show? No, not at all. Honestly, it's kind of mid, but it is definitely one of the most important, if not the most important, in a clip show episode. A very strange choice to take this genre of episode and make it so important, but if you had to do one, I'm glad they did it like this. And to me is one of the most brilliant displays of writing in the entirety of Power Rangers. And I wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.